So anyway, the point of this little whiz-a-banger here is that with our CNC router, there's no real convenient / easy way to move material away from the bit while it's cutting, as well as keeping it cool. So these little guys are some Delta TFB0612GHE server fans, of which there are 6 more that aren't murdered per se. There's 2 that just happen to have this little bit here and the thingy here pulled off, which just gives you the base wires. Well, unfortunately, there's no real way to get to the internal wiring, because if you can see here, it seems to go straight to the motor rather than being a cap on top, which is good and bad, but whatever. It just makes life annoying, because if the wires get too short, these little guys become useless. Thankfully, they're only about 15 bucks, well, anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks a piece, so that's not a big deal if one burns up. Now, for a power source, I just happened to get lucky, and this old Hewlett-Packard adapter seems to work. It's possibly a bit overvolted, because these are only supposed to be 12 by 1.68 amps, or sorry, 12 volts by 1.68 amps. Unfortunately, this is 18, but the voltage doesn't seem to affect them as much as the amperage does. So anyway, the idea here is where the way that the case fan was, or the case cage was built, this little guy here was actually offset like this, where the others set in there like this, which allowed me to take this guy, cut it out, just do some constructive redneckery, and pretty much put that guy, like take the back plane, cut it, and literally leave it in place. Now, you're wondering what this massive blob is. That was me overdoing it with the hot glue, because I was finally getting tired of all the wiring. But essentially what I've got is, I've got a hot and a ground coming off the server fan points on the back plane. The grounds all come to a common ground, twisted and then pulled down. One hot comes in, both the hots come into one of those little banana clips on, and then the hot from here, from the switch, or from the power supply, goes straight into here. So essentially it goes hot to switch, switch to both hots on the fans, and then the common grounds come back to a point flipped here and then grounded onto the ground. Because if I ran it in series, they actually seem to run slower and lousier. So anyway, like a regular server fan, these little guys just get a position here. I was gonna get smart ass and hook up the lights, and I figured, nah, that's probably a little too much. So get those guys into place, and it's very hard seeing what I'm doing while I'm looking through the phone because of that little bit of lag. So those guys secure, and I mean, you know, they're in there. They're not coming out. And it's just like this, you know, it's the same framework that you'd use for the server back plane. And unfortunately, if I had been a little smarter, I would have set the switch off probably right here. But hey, first time, kind of just rednecking it. Don't think it came out that bad. And I have more parts. So anyway, are we on off so I don't make this thing launch like a rocket? And now, the fun part about this is, these little suckers are 65 cubic feet a minute each. Actually, they're like, 63.8. So you might as well just say 65 in the grand scheme of things. Now, Clipsy. Husky tax. Clipsy. What I got? You want to get cool? But yeah, also the reason I wanted this was it's because of the cage. That way you don't wind up chopping your finger off, with those little plastic plates that tear your finger off in a heartbeat. But you want an electric leaf blower? Well, you got one. I won't say that these things are incredible, but I'm probably going to wind up taking and probably wind up making a shroud type deal, because the idea is to, put it on the right way here, is to lean it against the front of the machine like this, give or take. Again, line it up a little bit better, because right along the front there where that little crease is, it wants to just kind of fit just snug right there. So I figured, since this is actually steel, I can take and weld a couple points here and here with kind of a little retainer clip to just kind of hang and lean into place there. And the idea is, well, when we're about ready to fire up the machine, well, I can stop being retarded for a moment. When the machine starts firing up, flip those guys on, and then just let that blow the material away and keep the machine cool. So I'd say for reusing an 8-year-old machine, which is, yes, pardon the mess, because everything's a mess in this place. Yeah, that's cabbaging. But yeah, as you can see here, here's the rest of the back plane. Here's the rest of the fan cage, which sat down in there, right there, between the processors and that. I have no particular use for the heat sinks yet, but I'll figure something out. And then this was me tinkering around with different, damn things focus. But this was me tinkering around with just finding, you know, applicable ways to hook it all up. Just more junk. Oh, that was the other funny thing, was all of the wire that I sacrificed or was able to get was from this old ass calculator. I don't even know what brand this thing is. It's probably, make your best guess, but it was neat because the power or the outlet right here, it came from here, came down a little bit, and then split into nice ultrafine wires with a hot and ground, and it went back to about here, and then it went up into all this junk and literally just attached to 3 points here. And I'm like, oh yeah, just in my head I heard hallelujah, because there was like 2 feet of this, oh god, probably 30 gauge wire, rather than using, you know, disc gauge wire for that stuff, which was overkill. Well, anyway, that's all I can think of saying. Well, hope you liked my little crap ass video here. Not attempting to be anybody special, except for just showing off my crazy mad scientist work. Thanks.